She's not your daughter, so don't correct her. My husband spat those words across the dinner table like a threat. He thought he was putting me in my place, reminding me that after 3 years of marriage, his 14-year-old daughter, Chloe, was entirely off-limits. He wanted me to be the silent stepmother, quiet, obedient, and invisible. But what my husband completely forgot was who actually kept our lives running. He forgot who paid the mortgage on our luxury house. He forgot who funded Chloe's elite private school tuition, her horse riding lessons, and her expensive wardrobe. So I took his advice. I stopped correcting her. But I also stopped paying for everything. Before we begin, my name is Evelyn. I'm 34 years old, and if you want to see how an arrogant man destroys his own life the moment his free ride ends, make sure to stay tuned until the very end. Comment down below the city or country you're watching from so I can see how far my story has reached. My name is Evelyn. I'm 34 years old, and as a senior financial director, I'm used to managing multi-million-dollar portfolios. But inside my own home, I was treated like a guest who was expected to foot the bill. For 3 years, I tried my absolute best to build a genuine relationship with my 14-year-old stepdaughter, Chloe. Instead, I was met with eye rolls, slamming doors, and blatant disrespect, all while her father, Mark, enabled every single bit of it. The boiling point happened over dinner on a Tuesday evening. Chloe threw her fork onto her plate, scowled at the organic meal I'd spent an hour cooking after a 10-hour workday, and sneered that it tasted like garbage before reaching for her phone. When I calmly asked her to put her phone away and show some basic gratitude, Mark slammed his hand onto the table. He glared at me with pure venom and spat, "She's not your daughter. Don't correct her." In that exact second, the painful illusion of our happy family shattered completely. That night, while Mark and Chloe slept peacefully, I sat alone at the kitchen island with my laptop open. It was time for a silent, thorough audit of our household finances. What the spreadsheets revealed was even worse than I'd realized. Mark earned a modest salary as a regional sales representative, making barely enough to cover his own personal truck loan and credit cards. Meanwhile, my executive income was single-handedly bankrolling 85% of our entire existence. I was paying the $4,500 monthly mortgage on our 4-bedroom suburban home, funding Chloe's $18,000 annual private school tuition, and covering her $600 a month horseback riding lessons. On top of that, I was paying for designer clothes, summer camps, and lavish weekend shopping sprees. Mark had built an entire life of luxury on my hard work, all while reducing my role in our home to that of an invisible servant. He treated me like a human ATM, expecting unlimited cash flow without giving me an ounce of respect or maternal authority in return. A cold, sharp clarity settled over me as I closed the laptop screen. If I was just a stranger in this house, then it was time to start acting like one. Over the weekend, I went to work in total silence, methodically disentangling my life from theirs. First, I logged into my primary banking portal and opened a brand new individual checking account at an entirely separate financial institution. I immediately updated my company's payroll system, redirecting my executive salary away from our joint account into my private one. Next came the credit cards. I logged onto my account portal and canceled the authorized user cards I had given to both Mark and Chloe over 2 years ago. No warnings, no dramatic announcements, just a quick click to deactivate them forever. Finally, I drafted 3 formal emails. The first went to the administration at Chloe's elite private school, stating that effective immediately, my primary billing responsibility was removed and all future invoices should be directed solely to Mark's email address. The second and third emails went to her horseback riding academy and her private math tutor, instructing them to update their payment files to reflect Mark as the sole guarantor. By Sunday evening, every single financial tap that funded their lavish lifestyle had been turned completely off. I sat back in my desk chair, took a deep breath, and waited for the dam to burst. The first crack in their illusion appeared on Tuesday afternoon. I was in my home office when the front door slammed open so hard the walls shook. Chloe stormed into the hallway, her face flushed red with absolute fury, holding up her sleek black shopping bag like evidence of a crime. She'd been at the mall with her friends, attempting to buy a $700 leather jacket, only to have her card aggressively declined right in front of everyone. "Your stupid card didn't work," she shrieked, stomping up to my desk and throwing the piece of plastic at my face. "Fix it right now." It was so embarrassing. I didn't even look up from my laptop screen. I simply took a sip of my coffee and said in a calm, flat tone, "Your father handles your affairs now. You'll have to ask him." Before she could process my answer, Mark came charging down the stairs, his phone glued to his ear. His face was ghostly pale. The private school, the riding academy, and the utility companies had all called him back to back, informing him that his primary payment methods had failed and his accounts were officially past due. Panic had finally set in. Mark burst into my home office, slamming the door shut behind him. His eyes were wide with panic, his hands trembling as he shoved a stack of printed overdue notices into my face. "What the hell is this, Evelyn?" he shouted, his voice cracking. "The school says Chloe's tuition is unpaid. Her riding academy canceled her sessions. Did you turn off the cards?" I slowly closed my laptop, leaned back in my chair, and looked him dead in the eye. "On Tuesday, you made it abundantly clear that Chloe is not my daughter and that I have zero right to correct or guide her. I took your advice. If I have no parental authority in this house, then I have zero financial obligation to sponsor her lifestyle. She's a child." Mark roared, pacing the floor nervously. "You're her stepmother.
We're married.
Family shares everything. You can't just cut us off like this. It's heartless." "Family respects each other," I replied, my voice dropping to an icy whisper. "For 3 years, I paid $20,000 a year for her school, for $1,000 a month for this house, and thousands more for your personal debts while you treated me like an ATM. You wanted me to be a stranger, Mark. Now you get to see how expensive a stranger really is." Over the next month, Mark's comfortable world completely imploded under the weight of reality. Desperate to maintain appearances, he drained his modest savings within days, took out high-interest personal loans, and was ultimately forced to sell his prized sports truck just to keep the electricity on and cover basic expenses. The luxury was gone. Chloe was pulled out of her elite private school and enrolled in the local public high school. Her riding lessons were canceled, and her expensive shopping habits came to an abrupt halt. For the first time in her life, she realized her father was utterly broke without my income, and the tension between them became unbearable. Meanwhile, I moved in silence. I met with a top divorce attorney, gathered every financial record proving the house was purchased solely in my name prior to our marriage, and finalized the paperwork. On a rainy Thursday afternoon, while Mark was out attempting to negotiate another loan, a process server arrived at our door. I officially served him with divorce papers alongside a formal 30-day notice to vacate my property. The free ride was officially over. 30 days later, I watched from my upstairs window as Mark and Chloe packed the last of their belongings into a rented moving van. Without my executive salary supporting them, they were forced to downsize into a tiny, rundown 2-bedroom apartment on the far side of town. The arrogant man who once told me I didn't belong was now broken, facing a mountain of debt and the harsh reality of his own entitlement. As for me, I reclaimed my home, my peace, and my financial freedom. I renovated the house, invested my money back into my own future, and never looked back. Loving a family should never mean allowing them to walk all over you, and taking someone's generosity for granted will always cost you everything in the end. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Did I go too far, or did Mark and Chloe get exactly what they deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.